Hello everyone, welcome to Healing Hearts. This is an episode of Tuesday Thoughtful Questions, and I got a vast variety of questions that I do have for you today. And the topic is about how to build confidence. Recently at work, I was given an opportunity to basically write an article on how to build confidence. And it was with the Women's Leadership Council that I volunteer for, which I'm a member for. And they had articles, or my editors provided articles that were available to actually write upon. So this topic actually really struck me, and I was like, okay, what's the best way to write about this? I know I do have confidence, but I can't just write it from my heart. I gotta do a little bit of research. So I decided that I was going to check something on YouTube. On YouTube, I went there, I searched for how to build confidence, and of course there's a vast variety of videos. But one of them that actually really caught my eye, which was a TED Talk by Cece Olisa. And she actually really inspired me because she had her own obstacle and she was able to fight it by building confidence. And she used various resources to be able to bring herself to where she's at. Of course, personal resource is number one, but really acknowledging the things that she was suffering with, and she wanted to build herself upon that. So there's 4 questions that she actually provided that were really important on how to build confidence. But first, before I even go into the 4 steps or 4 questions that she had, what is it? Do you know what confidence is? Is it just sticking your head up held high and walking across people with attitude? I don't think so. Or is it, being able to conquer your own emotions and walk happily? That's what I believe confidence is. It's hard, and it's really hard because we don't come back to ourselves to really figure out what's really hurting us and what's really what's really breaking us down. So I told you in my previous episode what was really hurting me and what broke my confidence, but I took the options, or I took choices to actually build myself upon that. But it wasn't probably broken down the way Cece Olisa did break it down for me. And so I'm going to break it down for you guys too. So basically, she talked about how she wanted to be skinny and what her life would be like if she was skinny, and why it was so much more for what she could do in her life. Being skinny meant everything to her because she can travel, she can go places. But then I had to ask myself too, which is a question she asked. We need to first identify our perceived obstacle. And what was my perceived obstacle? Basically, I had to answer this question, which was, my life would be perfect if, and I said, if I'm married. That's what I said. I said, if I'm married. And I've been single for a long time. And I understood where she was coming from with that question. But why should that even hinder my life? Right? Why do I have to be married? Why does everyone have to have a partner? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I mean, of course, love is a very important thing to have in life. I do have companion, I have a dog and he's my companion and I love to share my love with him. And I also have family and I have other people that I don't need a plus one. And in that aspect, I figured out how to live from there. I don't have to have a partner. I do believe whatsoever everybody says that it is important to love yourself before you have your plus one. I still believe that till today, and I understood that. When I was younger, I was dating someone that was very much my love. I thought I found my one, and he's the only person I want to be with. We dated for 4 years, and he cheated on me. But I can tell you that was a learning lesson for me. And that was a learning lesson for me because he actually taught me that I need to live a life for myself. I was very dependent on his love. I was very dependent on his life. I was dependent on the things that he was doing. And I was trying to be a great girlfriend. So I did whatever he said, wherever he went. but I wasn't living for me. And maybe marriage wasn't all cut out to be everything. And at the end of the day, thank God he didn't marry me. But it all worked out for the well. He married someone else, whatever the case is. I'm sure they're living happily ever after. I forgive him. And I'm able to move forward. But what was so important to me that he taught me is that I needed to live for myself. So yeah, that's the question. Ask that question to yourself. My life would be perfect if, what do you have? Now the second question is, imagine your life if that obstacle was removed. That was hard for me because actually recently I've been wanting to be with someone. I've been really wanting a partner. I think it's important to have a partner. I still believe it's important to have a partner. But what if it didn't hinder the things that I'm already doing? Which I feel like I actually already am. And I didn't need this talk, this hope for self-confidence. I just had to do an article. But I realized that I already removed that obstacle from me. I already realized that after my ex, I had to live my own life. I had to grow from what I was doing. I had to be me, and that's important. Being yourself is the most important thing and growing with that. So I did remove the obstacle. I did. I was able to just become who I really was. I don't know if you remember in my first episode, I talked about Saturn's return, where there's things that your family teaches you, your parents teach you at a young age, and then you have to retrain yourself after you build yourself and you become independent and you become you. And that's the best relationship you can have. So in that aspect, after my ex left, I traveled, I lost 20 pounds, I started thinking about myself, I started doing things that were super important to me. I got a dog, I was happy, I was where I'm supposed to be. And while you're working on that, while you think about what would it like if your life would disappear, if your obstacle would disappear, what would it be like? Where would you be? Where are you now? Did you do that on your own already? And you realize, you know what? I did a good job. I do have my confidence. Yeah. Ask yourself that question. Where are you right now? And then another question that she did ask, or she said, is address your perceived obstacle. I did that too. I went to a healer. I was still hurting after I broke up. And it wasn't because of him. There was many things in my life that I was hurting from that still hindered me. Maybe it was PTSD from whatever I felt after that relationship and much more. But there was still an obstacle that I had to conquer. And I couldn't do it by myself. I had to do it with a healer. So I used the healer, and I talked about that in also my previous episode. I used a healer, and then I was able to move forward. And she built confidence in me. She helped me. She extracted the energy that was not positive in my life, that was hindering me from actually growing. And she told me, believe in yourself. And it's not selfish. That's self-confidence. That is building yourself. That is being, successful in your own feet. It doesn't matter where you are in life. It's not comparably to everyone else, but where you are today and how you built your confidence to who you are today is going to be the most important thing. So yeah, address your obstacle. Go to therapy, go to a coach, go somewhere. But whatever works for you. Who am I to say anything? Whatever makes you feel comfortable on what you need to do. I mean, maybe the gym will help you build your confidence. Maybe you have your trainer who's telling you, hey man, you can do one more rep, but then also think about this. So there's different ways to go about it. And the last part, which is step 4, is choose the life that you imagine you want today. What do you want today? What is it that you see yourself? So I extracted the idea of getting married. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it. I'm flexible about the situation, but I'm not going to be depressed about it. I'm not going to let it hinder me that I need a partner forever. I need somebody forever. I don't want to also be very dependent on that person either. I don't. I want to be my own person, but at the same time, I do want a plus one in my life. But I'm not going to stop myself from keep doing what I'm doing. I got myself a condo. I got myself a dog. I'm able to afford the mortgage. Thank you, parents, for helping me, I would say. I'm able to successfully build myself upon myself. And I didn't need anybody for that. I didn't need my plus one. Yes, would it help having someone else? Of course, if I break a leg or something happens, it would be nice to have my plus one. But realistically, I'm the most important person. No offense to everyone out there. I am the most important person. And the reason I'm important is because I'm taking care of myself. I'm building myself upon that. I'm able to do the things that I imagine I want to do. And that's the thing that I can control. I can't control a relationship. I can't control what another person's going to do. I can't control those things. But I can control being on my own. And I can control living the life I want to live aside from that obstacle. So build yourself. Build your confidence now. You got the tools now, right? So number 1, identify your perceived obstacle. Number 2, imagine what your life would be like if you didn't have that obstacle, if that obstacle disappeared. Number 3, address that perceived obstacle. Ask anyone. Anyone can help you. It could be, you don't even have to pay for it. Ask any guidance, coaches, therapists, whatever it is that kind of you feel comfortable doing. Maybe even a priest at a temple. Different ways to work. And lastly, choose to live the life you imagined. Today. Do it today. It's important to think about yourself. And I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm just trying to let you know that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for your next partner in crime. You don't have to wait to be skinny. You don't have to wait for anything. Just do it on your own. And like I said in the past, just ignore the noise. There's going to be people that are going to want to take you down because they don't have confidence in themselves. They'd rather put a blame or rather put it on someone else to build themselves up. But that's not the way to do it. Just ignore it. Just put the silence on it, put your headphones on, and just focus on you. And then build your confidence. And the minute you build your confidence, everything will align. Maybe I might get somebody tomorrow, and if I do, that's a success story for you guys. But this is also a success story. I'm able to talk to you guys confidently on this podcast to everyone, just telling them how to build confidence. And I give a huge shout out to Cici Olisa for doing this TED Talk because it really helped me. I was like, wait, I am doing that. That's crazy. I'm not letting anything hinder me. It's like almost a confirmation. So do the same for you guys. And honestly, if you have any questions, if you want to share a story about how you built your confidence, do it. This is on this channel. So subscribe. Come onto my YouTube channel, come onto my SoundCloud, which is finally officially a podcast, and let's all build confidence together and feel fights together. Thank you for listening to Tuesday Thoughtful Questions. Put it on your notes that you have a little bit of homework to do. Sorry, bye.